They laughed when the CEO called the single dad janitor for help. Everyone in the room smirked, whispered, or rolled their eyes as if the idea itself was comedy. A janitor? Helping with the company's biggest crisis? Impossible. Ridiculous. Embarrassing, but none of them knew the truth, none of them knew who he used to be, and none of them were ready for what was about to happen. The morning had started like any other. Ion wiped down the marble floors of Oratech. The tech giant he now worked at after life pushed him farther from his dreams than he ever imagined. His uniform was faded, his gloves worn, and the mop he pushed was older than some of the interns walking past him. Yet he moved with a silent dignity, simple, disciplined, and calm, as if some invisible past shaped the way he breathed. Everyone thought he was just a janitor, a single dad doing his best to survive, a man who kept his head down and stayed invisible. But the truth was much deeper, much heavier, and buried far away from the polished hallways he now cleaned. That morning was different. People were rushing, shouting, running with tablets and papers in their hands. Tension hung in the air like smoke. Something was wrong, very wrong. Ion noticed it even before the alarms buzzed in the executive department. He kept cleaning, but his eyes quietly observed everything. His daughter Muriel needed her school fees next week. Overtime would help. A quiet day would help even more. But today was not going to be quiet. Inside the top meeting room, panic was spreading like wildfire. Screens flickered. Data streamed uncontrollably. Millions of customer accounts were suddenly inaccessible. No one understood the breach. No one could stop it, and the one person who could, Ion, was downstairs pushing a mop. Even the CEO, Zara Khan, usually composed and ice calm, was breathing sharp and fast, her voice tight. Oratech's entire system is collapsing. Someone must know how to override this. Someone must understand this code. Someone must. She stopped, because on one of the glitching screens, she saw something familiar. A signature. A pattern. A style. Something she had seen years ago when she studied the work of a mysterious prodigy who disappeared from the tech world without a trace. Her eyes widened up. No, it couldn't be. What if, she whispered. What? Asked the head of security. What if there's someone in this building who understands this better than we do? People stared at her. You mean the cybersecurity team? No, the engineers? No, then who? She swallowed, embarrassed to even say it, but she trusted her instincts too much to ignore them. The janitor. The room fell silent, then came the laughter. A wave of disbelief and mockery spread through the executives. You want the janitor to help us? What next? Asked the guard dog for coding advice. CEO, madam, please be serious. Even my nephew knows more than a janitor. But Zara didn't smile. Bring him, she ordered softly, and that was the beginning of everything. Ion was escorted upstairs, confused but calm. He wiped his hands on his uniform before entering the room. Everyone stared at him like he didn't belong there, like he was dirt on their shoes. Someone actually muttered, he probably doesn't even know how to turn on a computer. Ion didn't react. He never reacted. Zara stepped forward. Mr. Ion. I need your help. His eyebrows lifted slightly, but he said nothing. She turned the screen toward him. Do you recognize this signature? This pattern? He stared quietly for a few seconds. He did recognize it. He knew it better than anyone in that room, because he wrote it years ago. In another life, before the accident, before he walked away from everything, before he became a single dad haunted by both love and loss. But he didn't say any of that. He simply nodded. Can you fix it? Zara asked. His voice was calm, steady, and deep. Yes. The room exploded. How can he fix what our entire team can't? This is absurd. CEO, with respect, we are wasting time. Then everything changed in one breath. Ion stepped forward, typed 3 commands, pressed a sequence no one in that room had ever seen, and suddenly the screens froze, not in panic, but in stability, like the storm had paused to listen. The engineers rushed behind him, studying his movements like confused students. Wait, what did he just do? How does he know that protocol? Who is this guy? But Ion ignored them all, focusing only on the code unraveling in front of him. The room became silent as his fingers danced across the keyboard with a speed that didn't match a janitor's lifestyle at all. Half the crisis evaporated in minutes, and the other half, he was about to solve it. His past was catching up whether he liked it or not. He took a deep breath. Chapter 1 ends when Ion finally whispers something no one expected. This breach isn't an attack. It's a message, and it's meant for me. Chapter 2 begins with tension so thick it becomes the air they breathe. People crowd around Ion now, not laughing, not doubting, just stunned and shaken. Zara feels something heavy drop inside her chest. A message meant for him? What did that even mean? What do you mean, for you? She asked. Ion paused. For the first time that day, his eyes weren't calm. They were filled with a storm he had tried to bury for years. Because I'm the one who built the original system your entire company still runs on, he said quietly. Long before you bought the tech. Long before I disappeared. The room froze, people stared at him as if seeing him for the first time. You built Oratech's core architecture, whispered an engineer. Yes, he replied, and only one other person in the world understands this code as deeply as I do. My former partner. What happened to them? Zara asked. Ion exhaled. He died. Or at least, I thought he did. A ripple of shock moved through the room. He continued. We were working on a breakthrough project, an AI-driven security system. It was powerful. Too powerful. But before we could deploy it, there was a lab fire. He didn't make it out. Ion's voice tightened, like the memory was choking him from the inside. I quit everything. I raised my daughter alone. I took whatever job I could. I walked away from technology forever. But if he's gone, Zara said carefully, who sent this message? Ion tapped the screen and brought up a line of code glowing in red. .1 signature. A signature only 2 people in the world knew how to write. It's him, Ion whispered. He's alive. The room erupted again, half terrified, half speechless. Why would he attack us? He used to be your friend, right? What does he want? Ion stared at the cascading code. He wants me back. The breach deepened. Systems blinked out across departments. The company was minutes away from collapse. Zara stepped closer to Ion, her voice low and steady. What do you need? Access to the central core, he replied. That's restricted. You want to save your company? Follow me. They ran down hallways, past security doors, into the silent heart of Oratech. Inside the core chamber, the lights flickered as if the building itself was in pain. The screens glowed red. A message popped up again and again. Come back. Finish what we started. Ion's jaw clenched. He began typing faster, sharper, with a quiet fury. His daughter's face flashed in his mind. Her smile. Her future. He wouldn't let the past destroy what little he had left. Suddenly, a video feed opened. A shadowed face appeared on the screen. Zara gasped. Engineers backed away. Ion froze. Ion, the voice said, you left me. You left the project. You left everything. You died, Ion murmured in awe. I waited. His former partner smirked, but now, we finish what we began. Ion stepped closer. I'm not that man anymore. You will be. Then everything went dark, every system. Every screen. Every server. A full blackout, people screamed upstairs, security alarms blared. Oratech was seconds away from total collapse. Zara whispered, Ion, what do we do? Ion didn't blink. Trust me. He plugged in a small drive from his pocket, something old, something he promised himself he'd never use again. He breathed deeply, typed 1 code. .1 final override. The building shook, the screens exploded in light, the whole system rebooted from the foundation, overriding the breach, erasing the hostile code, and locking out the attacker for good. Silence, bright, clean, stable silence, then applause, then disbelief, then tears. Ion saved everything. Zara stepped close, far closer than a CEO ever stood to a janitor, and said softly, You're not a janitor. You're a genius. I'm a father, he replied, that's more important. She smiled, a rare, warm smile. Then let us take care of you for once. You're done hiding. Oratech needs you. The room waited. Ion looked at his hands, at the keyboard, at the company he had unknowingly built a decade ago. Then he thought of Miral, and smiled. Okay, he said, but only if I can pick up my daughter from school on time. Laughter filled the room, genuine this time, not mockery, not disbelief, respect. Ion walked out of the core chamber not as a janitor, but as the man he had once been, and the man he was ready to become again. They had laughed at him in the beginning, but by the end, they stood in awe, and his story was only just beginning.